vibe. She wanna vibe.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marlon Celerio.
And I'm Sinead Bierman, and we are back to talk all things self-development, growth, and mindset.
Perfecto. Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back. 2021, our first ever episode.
Yep.
I've been raring to get back, but that was a good break.
Yeah, needed it. Definitely.
How long was that? 4 or 5 weeks, wasn't it?
4 weeks, maybe.
Yeah. Let's just quickly, I just want
Hope you all didn't miss us too much.
I just want to flex some numbers here because I'm so appreciative of it. The High Frequency Club year in review, 10 episodes published, 577 minutes of content, 592 downloads. That's wild.
And that's not, including streams or views, that's just downloads, isn't it?
And even on a 4-week break, we still received 48 downloads.
Yeah.
So I'm just so thankful that this is as much value to people as it is for us.
Yeah.
What'd you get up to on your break?
My break, I headed up north for 2 weeks with my mates. We went from Auckland all the way up the east coast, right up the top to Cape Reinga. It was epic. I hadn't done much of the Northland, so ticked off a lot of things along the way.
What was your favourite part?
Favourite. I think Duke's Nose would definitely be up there. That was just outside of Kerikeri. That was an epic, somewhat unplanned hike that we had heard it was only a 45-minute trip, and ended up being like a 4-hour return hike that we had no water, no food, peak heat of the day, but we survived. So
that's ruthless. And like New Zealand sun too, peak heat while exercising is ruthless.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys get heat stroke?
We were all getting there, definitely. We were all getting a bit sort of lightheaded, and ended up stopping at this little hut that was there for some untreated water that said boil before drink, but we were desperate, so.
Isn't it time for that?
Yeah, but no, all the beaches along there, all the coasts is just epic. Bay of Islands definitely up there with somewhere I would want to go back to, so.
I've never been I've been to Cape Reinga, but I've never done the Bay of Islands or anything like that. I've never explored the Northland.
Yeah, people that go all the way up, I don't get it. It's just sort of like, I think it breaks it up as well. It doesn't feel as long a trek. Because if you're going straight from Auckland to Cape Reinga, how long would that be?
Pretty damn long, 4 hours.
Yeah, whereas I guess stopping, we stayed a night or 2 nights at each spot along the way, so it just didn't feel
It's actually,
long.
it's actually around 4 or 5 hours from Auckland to Cape Reinga. My parents, on Monday, went from Taupo to Cape Reinga one day, 8 hours, just driving. And they went they visited Cape Reinga, Whangarei Falls and 90 Mile Beach. And of course, stopped over for lunch and shit. So that's 16 hours of just driving for one.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, that's a 24-hour day. Thankfully, you had other drivers, but still.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't be keen on that. Even on the way back, we stopped halfway at Whangarei before heading back to Auckland. But epic trip. Didn't really want it to end, and it was just a good break from routine and downtime, getting to just chill out and not have to think about.
Did you feel reset?
To a certain degree, yes. I feel that when, like a holiday or a break when you're with friends, I guess, or family, I feel you don't get the same level of solo time. There was definitely the opportunity for it if I wanted to. I probably could have been like, anyway, girls, I'm going to go for a walk or do whatever. But I feel I was just trying to be present with everything we were doing together. So probably not the same level of solo time.
Yeah, there's two things there. For me, I find it so interesting how our proper break, we wait almost 12 months to take.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great to be able to do that every single quarter? But I guess when I look at the way we look at our society and the working structure, it's just not structured in that way.
Yeah, and I guess for a lot of businesses and companies, they do just shut down over that period. That's when everyone a lot of places it's forced closure and forced holiday, so you have to take time off. So I think that's why there would be a lot of people as well that they do just wait till end of the year to have a break.
Yeah, and it's almost, I guess, if you're a business owner as well, if everyone's shut, well, it's okay if I shut.
Yeah.
Because that means I'm not missing out on any profit or anything like that, Rather than just taking what is well, actually prioritizing what is best for your own and your staff's mental and emotional well-being over revenue and stuff like that. I'm not very clued up in the whole economics of this shit, so like don't quote me on it. Also, just off tangent, my voice is a little bit fucked. I went hard with back at classes, and I've
Rookie.
I smacked up my voice.
Rookie.
So if I sound a little bit monotone or, that husky, I'm not trying to sing. I'm not a country singer.
Anyway, how was your time back home? How was your break?
I took 2 weeks off. So 2 weeks of full no work. The first 8 days of that 2 weeks I spent back home in Taupo. So it was all with family. When you're with family, it was a holiday in the sense that like I got away from Auckland and normal routine, which was great. I also got, a couple times where I was able to just sit on the couch and literally do nothing, but like watch TV, and like it was just so good to just have that time to do nothing.
Yeah.
But also sporadically throughout the day, there are duties that you've got to do as a son and as a brother. Not that like I'm saying that poor me, you know, but in relative to like a holiday where you get solo time, you get the whole shabam of a holiday from everything, from all duties. You detach from all responsibilities. It wasn't to that extent. It was maybe like 80% of that.
Yeah.
So I was hoping to get that with the final few days when I got back to Auckland on the 30th. But it was New Year's, right? So now it's time to hang out with friends.
Yeah.
And then come New Year's Day, and then you've actually only got 4 days left until I started work on the 5th.
Yeah.
But even
no, keep going. Sorry.
yeah, so from the 5th, I only was at like 50% capacity with clients, and then after that it was pretty much 100. So was it a holiday? Kind of. It was a holiday.
Yeah.
Like, there were lots of great takeouts, and a majority of the time was positive. What I would have wished was longer, maybe taking another week to literally just be by myself and just take the alone time. Yeah. Next year, or actually, it's got me thinking like I don't want to wait another 12 months until I take a big break like that, you know? Yeah. Actually, I'd like to like take three days off every quarter.
Yeah.
That might look like a Friday to Sunday or a Saturday to Monday.
Yeah.
And just take some good time off, get away from Auckland and break away from the normal routine. I think there's something good about being able to have something to look forward to as well.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Work so hard. It's just like when I have programs with clients, like, 4 weeks programming, but then, each phase is 4 weeks and the program itself is 12. And then at the 12 weeks, go out for dinner or, something to look forward to.
Yeah. That's what I think. I think probably since November, I was looking forward to our 2-week break. And that was sort of the only thing getting me through that last two months. And I do think it's, too long to wait and to look forward to a break. But I guess with COVID in the mix this year and lockdowns and whatnot, we didn't really have holidays per se booked in to look forward to. Or if you did, they got cancelled. So, yeah.
But I think there's such a great opportunity in being able to now you can explore your backyard.
Yeah, definitely,
Go up to Northland, and I want to go to Wellington. I've never been to Wellington.
Yeah.
I want to explore more of the South Island. Everything was always there. It seems more accessible now because it's the only thing you can do.
Yeah. And New Zealand's definitely, I've just seen lately so many upcoming festivals advertised, and they're all New Zealand, because I guess we're the only country that's at this stage able to be having those sort of events. So
yeah, there's so many top DJs coming because it's like, these are the only places where we can actually earn money too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, what was it like with your friendship dynamics with being on holiday? That's a long time to spend with friends.
Yeah, I think we were all pretty good, to be honest. Grateful for my mate Kira that kind of organised the whole trip. I think it's always good to have a organiser in the group that just sort of plans everything, has the itinerary done. So that was epic. That
head honcho.
Yeah, that everything was sort of booked and organised and sorted. And then but otherwise, I don't think there was any sort of dramas really. I think we're all pretty good at communicating openly and honestly if we have to.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where, some of us needed solo time, and you would just be like, grab your book and be like, anyway, I'm going for a walk, I'll be back later, or and we'll do our own thing. But most of the time it was pretty chill, to be honest.
Because you guys are also, you call it an orphan Christmas, New Year's, isn't it? Because you guys are all from different countries, your families aren't here.
Yeah.
And what do you think is there much of a difference from like, the family that you have in Australia when you spend Christmas to your friends' orphan family Christmas? Like, what's the difference?
I think
similarities there.
This would just be awkward if mum, etc. is listening back home. But I've found the last...
Preface it, man. You got to preface it.
Don't get me wrong, I would love to obviously have a Christmas back home because it's been so long since I've seen my family. But the last couple of Christmases here with my mates, it's just been good fun because you're just hanging out with your mates as always. Whereas back home, we would always catch up with my mum's side of the family, which, considering we all lived in the same town, we would only generally catch up at Christmas time. So it was always just like awkward small talk and, how's work, how's this, how's that? And it kind of was, I was always like, why do we do this? Like, we never see each other all year, and then on this one day, we're forced to hang out together. But the whole time I'm like, I'd rather be home just chilling or doing whatever, but instead you're just having, crappy, superficial small talk all day long. So that's where I've, enjoyed the last couple of Christmases with my mates, because it's just, normal.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I would still love a Christmas at home.
Of course. I'm not saying pick one or the other. I think it's just interesting having a yarn about those dynamics. Like Filipino Christmases. Not that I've experienced many. I've only experienced my family, so I should say my Filipino family's Christmas experience it's like a fiesta, Yeah. But this year, my parents were so busy that there was just a lot to juggle,
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's the same kind of vibe that, when the older you get, the less you care about a birthday. We more cared about that, like we were all together, because my sister's in Hamilton, I'm in Auckland, my brother's still down there. It's very rare that we're able to all spend so much time together at length, for that whole week. It was good. I think something that I took away from mine was some of my high school friends still live in Taupo.
Yeah.
So I only see them maybe 2 to 3 times every single year. And Christmas is the one where we have like traditions, like we play cricket, or go see all the boys at a certain home and shit like that. And we have those traditions to see each other. What I observed this year was the growth. Like, we're all nearing 30 now. I'm 29 this year, and we're all around the same age. Something that I found interesting was, like, for example, I have one bro, and the banter that we had when we were like 14, 15 was, I guess it was casual racism towards me, because I'm Asian. But like, we were friends, you know, and it was just, I didn't really take it to heart. It was just funny, and like, I'd give him stick for having ginger hair. We're 15 years old, right? It didn't really come loaded. But now we're 30, and the banter's still there. And for me, I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. It's, like, I know he doesn't mean it, right? I know he doesn't mean it. But now that I'm a little bit more aware, and I guess you're also aware of the times, it does seem more often than it did when I was 15.
Yeah.
But then again, what am I going to do? Like, I'm here with all my high school mates. I don't want to pick a fight.
Yeah.
So it's just easier. And it's not like I'm taking it home to cry about it either.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, well, let's just laugh about it, because whatever. But at the same time, you're always hearing about, especially with the things that are going on in the world, you've got to call that shit out. Yeah.
Because if you're not calling it out, you're
allowing it, right?
And like you said, as much as it's just towards you and you don't take it personally or care, but then, if they probably have those same attitudes and beliefs then towards other people. Or
exactly. So that brings me to the next point, where I had a bro who was also in our group, and he was racist as well. But again, when you're 15, it was more casual and unloaded. But that's how it all starts anyway, right? I'm not fucking saying that this is okay. Yeah. I'm just saying that for me, in my experience, I never took it home. Yeah. So there's the other bro, and he stood up for me at the party, and he called the other guy over and he goes, bro, if you say more shit like that, if Marwan doesn't punch you over, I will. And then calls me over and he goes, bro, is that not fucking you off? Because if you want to bang him out, like, because it was his house, if you want to bang him out, like, fuck, do it. And I'm like, oh shit, first of all, I thank you so much for this, because this is a completely different character to who you were at 15. And then I explained, like, fuck, I just feel like I don't want to cause a scene. We're here for a good time.
Yeah.
You know? But I appreciate that you did it. Because then it stopped from there, the guy, you know?
Yeah.
So I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
One, the growth of my friend who, you know, would have done the exact same thing many years ago.
Yeah.
And to stand, and he's Pākehā too.
Yeah.
And to step in for me, even though I wasn't being loaded on it. And also the dynamic of the friend that was doing it to still carry it on 15 years later. Yeah. I do understand the talks these days of gotta call them out. And it's easy to say that until you're in a situation and the context like I was in.
Yeah, like you said, it's almost like time and place, but at the same time there would be people that say there's no technically right time or place. But like you said, when it's only in that situation where it was only towards you, and like you said, you in general just wanting to have a good time with your mates, you'd, like you said, feel like causing a scene in order to call it out.
I'm a novice in these types of situations. I've never loaded racism onto myself, so I would love to open it out to whoever's listening. What would you have done, or if you've experienced that, what would you have done in my situation?
Yeah.
You know, what'd you do in your situation? Because, you know, do I want to? Yeah. Because
that's where I guess it's like we said, that's where it sort of starts. If you're, even though you're mates, but if it's allowed in that friendship circle, then it's likely that it's going to be like he's going to then do it in his workplace or around other people type thing. And that's where it's like almost as a friend, it's probably easier to hear it from a friend versus, you know, a stranger that is a bit more fired up and... Yeah. But one thing that is a good takeout from that is if you're the friend outside hearing it from an outside view, that is the correct, admirable and loving way to do it. Maybe not the punch in the head part, because that's the best way that he thought he could do it, you know, and also just to make a point, which was great. But yeah, he called him out, and he was once just like that guy back in the day. So New Year.
We're now
are you a New Year's resolutioner?
Sure. Yeah, I use the year as a measurement of resetting. Yeah. But really, it's just the same shit, different day, as in. Like,
well, I think it's just it's like a check-in point, really.
Yeah, it's a check-in point.
Point to reflect and I guess course correct if you need to, but and that's where I think it is. If we didn't have that, you probably wouldn't. You would just keep rolling on. And I guess that, again, it's a period that people do, if they're off work and on holidays, they will have more time to reflect, I guess, than during the year or any other time. But
how have you found it trying to get back into routine? Because it is the 20th today. We're recording this on the 20th.
Not too bad. I think it helps in regards to, I think for a lot of people, fitness would be one of the things that they struggle to sort of, if they've had time off, is getting back into the gym and routine. Well, that's what I've found with a lot of members at the gym. I guess that's easy for us when you, like, it's your job type thing. So for me, it's sort of straight back into normal classes, so I didn't really have a choice there. I mean, still a bit tough, but definitely made easier when you have to be at the gym at a certain time. And then, getting back into work's been not too bad. That's been pretty eased back into that.
For me, and like, I've got to be super observant about myself when it comes to this. Is like, over the Christmas period, like, all I did was eat, pretty much. I'm at home, I eat, I just eat, and I put on like 3-4 kgs in a space of 2 weeks. Well, 2 weeks, right? And to get back into routine, I'm just telling myself, just do what you left off on. Which was, working out 4 times a day, 4 times a day, 4 times a week, before you went on holiday. But, naturally, I associate, oh shit, 4 kgs up, I better do 2 classes today. Or I better do more than 30 minutes of training today. And it's just about for me, just getting back into routine, not having to do anything extra, but also being patient.
Yeah.
You know, it's much easier to put on 4 kgs than to lose it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just something that I had to be mindful of when I came back to work. Like, oh shit, my what do you call it? My work top is this. You know, I can see a little bulgy here. But hey, it's all fun and games, and I'm just trying to just de-associate from the fact that like I better get back to what I was in November.
Yeah.
To this week.
Yeah.
You know, and just being like, it's all good. Just go through the process, and I think that's something that's relatable for a lot of people. Trying to speed up the process, you know, with the same mindset that I had when I first came in January and being like, oh, I better do 2 classes today, or I better work out longer, or I better starve myself, you know. It's just get back on the bandwagon.
Yeah. I find that's something that I've always, that's the advice, like every class I've taught so far, I've said to people, you know, if this is your first week back or your first class back, you know, ease into it, maybe go a bit lighter, or if you're only going to do half a class, that's cool. And then I realised how, like my first couple of classes, about how hypocritical it was of me to tell people, you know, if you're just getting back into it, go lighter. And I was like, oh, it's my first week back, this is only my second pump class. And then I still put my same weights on. 3
to 4 weeks of a holiday and not going to the gym or not doing your usual movement is very small in the grand scheme of things. It's like, you know, 1 month out of 11.
Yeah, well, that's what I found after 2 weeks off of doing the bare minimum, just walking and hikes, that my first pump class back, I felt okay. So that's where I think, people can often be way too hard on themselves. And I think even if you lose a bit of fitness, I think whenever I've had breaks or holidays, I've tried to, instead of being like, oh my God, I used to be able to do X, Y, Z, or I used to be able to lift X amount and now I can't, and naturally feeling disappointed in yourself, is using that as your measure to be like, okay, well, I used to be able to squat this much, like that's how much I want to, that's what I want to work back towards. Or I used to be able to do 20 push-ups on my toes, that's where I want to get back to. Versus, it's just mindset really, versus being like, oh, I can only do 5 push-ups on my toes, I suck. Is thinking like, okay, I can do 5 at the moment, I want to get back to 20. Like,
well, it's so easy to catastrophize a lot of things, right? And like, be realistic. Like, you're sure you lose a little bit of fitness. Is it fitness or is it endurance? You know, it's one of the two, right? You do lose a little bit, but after a week, you're back to where you were, as long as you're getting back into your routine, I think, anyway. It's not like you fucking lose all motor unit patterns and shit, you know? I think...
Muscle memory's there.
It's important to not pull yourself up on catastrophizing. Be kind to yourself.
Well, in addition to... I guess routine, or getting back into routine. Like I said, obviously for me with classes, it's pretty much like all that side of it is planned. But yeah, I'm a big believer, fail to prepare to fail, in that with trying to get back into some sort of routine, you do have to have structure and be organised. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm going to try and get to the gym 3 times a week without actually scheduling in when that's going to happen. Or I want to focus on eating better, but then not actually doing anything.
I'm glad you brought this up, because my client, after a session, I asked her, did anything surprise you today? And she said, what surprised me was that how important the process and the lead up is to that session, you know, rather than just turn up to the session and think you're going to perform well. It's like, no, she was like, if I turn up frantic, like it takes me time to get into the room, you know. If I got a shit sleep, my performance feels it. If I didn't eat, my performance feels it. I'm not getting the most out of, you know. So it's actually the process, the preparation beforehand. What does your preparation look like for an optimal day of feeling good, great work?
Well, I usually on a Sunday afternoon / evening always plan my week. So I'll always write out, what I've got on for the week each day. And I've only started doing this the last year, but it was something that I did pretty sure all throughout school and definitely all throughout uni. I would always plan and prep my weeks. And it's a good way to just make you realise either A, how much time you do have, or B, how much time you usually do waste. Because I think once things are written out, it's like it's that additional sense of achievement that comes from actually being able to tick something off or cross it out. So I think it makes me do stuff, as much as I might be like, oh, I just want to chill tonight, I want to do this, I want to do that. I think, no, you've got to tick off these 2-3 things on your list, otherwise you're not going to, get everything done. So that's how I usually have a good day most days, is just being planned and yeah, I think it's just satisfying at the end of the day, being like, sweet, I've got everything I needed to get done on my to-do list.
Yeah.
So-
I think, for me, when your systems are already done, like for example, and I don't do this all the time, like when the bag is packed,
Yeah,
everything you need is already in there.
including your laptop.
Including your laptop. There was a time where I forgot my laptop because I didn't prepare properly.
Yep.
Or you've just got so much more capacity to think and be
Yeah.
yourself,
Yeah.
and to be able to be creative if you're inclined that way. And because everything else is done, you're literally just seamlessly walking through the day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's no surprises in terms
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
what you expect to be done.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's, for me, it's then there's also no like frustration or getting annoyed at myself when I think, oh shit, I haven't got this done this week, oh I wanted to do this and I haven't done it. It's like, if I haven't written it down, it won't get done. Whereas if it's written down, I will do it. So that would be my practical takeout tip for people if they are sort of struggling with either getting into routine or feel like that there's not enough time in the day and they can't get what they need to get done, is like pick a day or a night. Even if you just write out your day, but ideally, like I said, I write out my week, and it can be as basic as like gym at this time, have breakfast, go to work, blah, 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 blah. But you can just then see where you've got time to, especially for me, like reading. I'm always like, yeah, I'm gonna read this book in the next 2 weeks. But then unless I like actually schedule it in, it gets to Friday, I'm like, oh, I haven't even touched my book.
Yeah.
Because I haven't actually scheduled it into my week when I'm gonna read. Even though you think that's such a basic thing. But yeah, if I don't write something down, it's not gonna get done, so.
Yeah. You find freedom in having structure. Yeah. Because if you don't have structure, how do you just know you're getting anything done, and what are you getting it done for as well? Yeah. Something that I'm struggling with to get back into routine is sleep.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this podcast with Matthew Walker. And he's got a few, but the one I've been listening to is the Feel Better, Live Better podcast with
Feel Good, Live Better. Live Better, Feel More.
One of those two. And Matthew Walker is like a professor in, is it sleep?
Sleep researcher.
Yeah, that's right. He's a researcher in sleep. Fuck, man. Like, it's such an undervalued thing right now. And for me, people are now starting to become aware on how important sleep is, that it should be in your top 3 priority. And that's just, something for me. I just need to be able to wind down earlier. So let's say I need to be asleep by 9:30 to get my 8 hours when I wake up at, 5:15, 5:30. That's 8 hours. So that means I should be fully asleep. That means... But then for me, I'm like getting in bed at 9 thinking I'm going to be asleep in 15 minutes. It actually takes like 30, 45 minutes for you to fall asleep. He used a great analogy. It's like, you got to picture you going to sleep like a plane landing. It takes time to descend, you know? And the descending should start an hour to an hour and a half before you actually need to be knocked off. So some strategies that he shared that I'm going to try is like, turn on warm dim lights and take away all the sharp ones, the white lights. Start to get off your phone at like an hour to 45 minutes. And if it's impossible for you to not have your phone in your room, make this rule that you can only be using your phone while you're standing up. You don't want to have your phone in bed because you're associating bed with being on your phone, and being on your phone is being stimulated. You want to associate bed with just sleep. And I was like, fuck, so simple, but so subconsciously looked over. Just those small things. And so true. As soon as you wake up, get out of bed. Do your stretches outside. Only associate your bed with sleeping. So you know that that's what it's there for. So that's one of my takeouts if getting into routine. Not only just prioritizing 8 hours of sleep, the sweet spot is 7 to 9. For me, it's 8. I'm okay with 7. But if I want to be at my best, I'm at 8. And starting my wind down routine by, 90 minutes beforehand. It's funny, he also said, I guess I get so excited because it's such new knowledge to me. He said, it's funny how we have a wake up alarm.
But we don't have a bed alarm.
We need a bed alarm, an alarm to start, getting ready for bed. And actually, iPhone has that.
Yeah.
The health app has that.
Yeah. Mine, yeah. That's another thing in regards to planning your day. I think if you plan that in so that everything's going to be done by 8:30, so that you then do have that time to wind down and go to sleep. Whereas I think for a lot of people, once you finish work at 5:30 or get home from the gym at 6, and then you are sort of fluffing around and have dinner and do this and do that, and then like for me at the moment it's like start looking at rentals or do this or do that and messaging people, and then before you know what you're like, oh shit, it's 9:30, and you still feel like you've got things to do, or you're like, I just need to do this one more email, da da da. But yeah, I think if you schedule that into your day so that you think, no, my day is going to finish at 8:30 p.m. and that's when I'm switching off, reading if anything, and going to sleep. But yeah, he's lots of tips. The other thing I know he's huge on, well, and the research is huge on, is going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time 7 days a week.
That's just get your rhythm, isn't it?
Yeah. Set your rhythm. He said, like, do your best to always get to bed at the same time. And like he refers sort of think as like binge sleeping, people that he said that might average only 4 or 5 hours Monday to Friday, but then on the weekend I think, oh sweet, I can have like a 14-hour sleep on the weekend and sort of catch up. He's like, nah, you're better off, always aiming to bed at the same time, wake at the same time.
And I think when you, let's say I'm only going to get 5 hours sleep Monday to Friday and then binge sleep on the weekend, so that means 2 days out of the 7 you're well slept, optimal, feeling good, and out of the other 5s you are moody, less productive, slow, lethargic.
Yeah, which is
that is
generally Monday
some
to Friday.
shit ratios.
Yeah, and that's when you need to be on for most people, you'd assume Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
When you're training, working.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. But I do understand that because I have been that type of person, you know?
Yeah.
And I think just off the back of what you were saying, if you prepare to fail, you fail to prepare. If you, it's not just like the wind down period where you prepare for a good sleep. He says coffee has a half-life of 6 to 8 hours and a quarter life of 8 to 12 hours. So that means if you're drinking coffee at 12, and I've done this, you could still be feeling the effects of the caffeine at midnight, you know?
Yeah.
And sleep has to go through these certain cycles. And if you start at the first cycle poor, the next one's gonna be poor, the next it just winds on, you know? But yeah, just your preparation of when should you have your caffeine for a good night's sleep starts well before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think he touches the same with naps. I think he said naps aren't necessarily a bad thing if you need them, but yeah, you should be mindful of where you time a nap and that you're not having it too late and that it then impacts your
You're a
sleep.
big napper.
Yeah.
I don't want to admit it, but
I was just thinking, as of these last couple of weeks, not so much, but yeah, definitely. But again, I definitely won't let myself nap generally any later than 4 p.m.
Why do you need a nap?
Just a good little recharge. I think it's almost sometimes...
Even when you're not tired?
No, that's when I have to be tired, because otherwise because I only have like a 15-20 minute nap, so it's like I need to be tired in that, like as soon as my head hits the pillow, boom, I'm out for 15 minutes and then but yeah, I think a lot of the times as well it's almost a good way to just switch off. I mean, I probably could just sit there and meditate instead, but I find it's, for me it's just, if there's like heaps going on at work or whatever, I just need like 15 minutes to just switch off, and then I wake up and I'm like, right, sort of refocused.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's only if I have the opportunity to. So
there was one thing which I know we touched on in season 1 about limiting beliefs, and it resonated with me when I was hearing this episode on sleep with Matthew Walkers, because he said a lot of people say that I'm all good on 5 to 6 hours sleep, or I cannot get more than 6 hours sleep. And I think what he's saying is that you might have sleep, sleep, you just, you have
sort of insomnia where you can't wake up.
It's an actual sickness or illness.
Yeah,
there's that.
Yeah.
But there's also a whole lot of people that don't have that, but just didn't have this self-belief that they can't do it. Therefore, of course, that manifests.
Yeah.
And they've just made it normal.
Yeah.
So, I think there's utility in asking yourself, are you doing everything you can to not get 6 hours sleep slash are you doing everything you can to get more than 6 hours sleep?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because if you don't have a sleep illness, then there shouldn't really be any other reason apart from your own preparation, structure,
Yeah.
and belief.
Yeah. In order to getting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I look forward to, for me, really optimizing my life in terms of just being close to 100% every single day. And I know I am that when I get a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole day, my energy is balanced,
Yeah.
you know?
And I think averaging it, because I think as well, so often you think, oh, I've got a big day tomorrow, I need 8 hours sleep now. But because there's times where I've had that, but if I get that 8 hours that one night, but then the last couple of nights prior, I only got 6 or 6.5, I find that one night of 8 hours doesn't necessarily help that day, that it is more the accumulative build-up of
Oh, yeah.
sleep. So that's where I think, again, like it said, averaging to try and always go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time,
Yeah.
versus just thinking, oh yeah, big day tomorrow, important day tomorrow, 8
Yeah.
hours.
He said he did a research with like these athletes, and they said these group of athletes did consecutive 6 hours sleep nights, and they measured it to be just as bad as staying up for 24 hours straight. And
That's mad.
I'm sure that there are a lot of people
Yeah.
that every single night just getting 6 hours, sometimes minimum sleep, and
Yeah.
made it normal.
Yeah.
That's all for them.
Yeah, the studies in regards to getting less than 6 hours sleep and your increased chance of injury as well is ridiculous.
And death.
yeah.
Yeah, shorter lifespan, not just health span. Yes, health span,
Yeah.
but lifespan too.
Yeah. So I guess this continues on from last season's message, which was prioritize your sleep.
Yeah, and I think if I could give a practical step is to have hard boundaries. I'm talking to myself as much as I'm talking to everyone else here. For me, it is, I got to get rid of my phone.
Yeah.
Got to get rid of my phone earlier, not try fall asleep, not be like, okay, phone done, hopefully I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
Get rid of my phone earlier and start that wind down routine,
Yeah.
Get back to reading,
Yeah. Yeah.
something like that.
Well, you can combine those practical tips, which mine was planning your week/day, and include your preparation for sleep and wind down in your plan,
Yeah.
and see if you can just nail your week.
Yeah. Awesome. Look, 2021 coming ahead. Has 2020 taught you anything that you're going to, utilize in 2021?
Oof. I think, a big intention for the year is just to continue always trying to look at everything through the lens of sort of gratitude and being present in every situation that you're in. That's going to just be something that I'm going to continue focusing on this year.
Love that. And I think it's important to also note that gratitude is an outcome. There is a process to feeling gratitude. Like, for example, a lot of people lost their jobs and shit over 2020 and are still going through a series of unfortunate events. You just can't, boom, in a clack of your fingers, be gratitude.
Yeah, be grateful.
Yeah, it's important that you process that, the emotion of sadness or the state of anxiety or, and in some cases hopelessness, but ultimately look to get into the outcome of being grateful for something. It's important not to just pretend that you're happy. Go through the process. Because a client said it to me in the midst of the whole COVID thing last year, and when we got back to lockdown, he was like, fuck, my friends just kept telling me, be grateful, be happy, find 3 things you're grateful for. And he was like, I don't want to be fucking grateful. I want to be angry today. And I'm like, hey, who is anyone to tell you that that's wrong? If that is what you need right now, accept it. But it is important to see that, the end goal isn't to be angry, the end goal is to be grateful. But right now, this is your process towards that. Yeah.
I think you can still, I think even in a situation where I'm pissed off or angry about something, it's still, then I still try and zoom out and see the bigger picture and still think, oh, well, I'm still grateful for blah, 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 blah. I can still be pissed off and annoyed about whatever something that might happen in my day or my week or whatever. But then just sort of zoom out and think, oh well, grateful that, you know, have health, I have this, I have that. So
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah, but like I remember in Ben's episode 7 last season, you know, it came, an emotion is actually just a 30-second reaction.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's important for that 30 seconds, feel that motherfucker out.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, really,
yeah.
you know, relish in it. 'Cause I also think in a philosophical and spiritual way, like that is the joy in being human. Like
Yeah,
we're
being
able to
able to experience,
experience all of these
different
feelings,
emotions.
you know?
Yeah.
But it's after that 30 seconds when we start to wallow into it and it turns into like a bad day.
Yeah.
When it was really just a bad 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Or we make permanent decisions based on temporary feelings. That's when it starts to be negative. You start hurting people,
Yeah.
including yourself.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to be actually counterintuitive, you know, or when it's not counterintuitive, when it's now becoming
Harmful than helpful. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of emotions, Ben, next episode.
Yeah. Our next episode is going to have Ben
Ben
Temaro
will be back.
Yeah, and then we've got a lineup of other guests that we're not going to release just right
Yeah.
now because we want it to be a secret.
Yeah.
But we are definitely looking for season 2. We're leveling up, and we always appreciate all your support, all your listens, all your downloads. We know that there's a lot of you guys listening. We would love to hear your feedback.
Yeah.
You know, we, including you, are the High Frequency Club. This is not a two-man club. Everyone that listens and takes part and sees value is all a part of the community that we are trying to build here.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Yeah.
you can find us on
At the High Frequency Club, and if you do try and implement a couple of those practical tips that we shared today, then also let us know. Yeah.
See you guys next week. Peace.
That's a vibe. She wanna vibe. That's a vibe. Yeah.